Welcome back to another episode of Life After Sunday. We got Mr. Bob Brock back in the studio today, fresh off the road.
Yeah.
How you fellas today?
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, get up on that mic, boy.
Hi. How are y'all?
Mike barely escaped death this week.
Yeah, I had a bad experience with lightning because y'all know I'm a weather dork. So I was.
If you listen to this podcast any amount of time, surely they know.
Yeah, you know.
You know.
So I was on the back porch filming this horrendous thunderstorm that put 875 million sticks in my yard and tree limbs and everything else. And I was standing inside the sliding doors inside the house, but the doors were open. And then I have a porch that goes out, 10 or 15 feet. One would think I was safe. And then lightning hits, and all of a sudden I find myself on the floor wondering what just happened.
So did you feel yourself
I
fall like you were
I
coherent?
I never
you
lost.
didn't just like wake up on the floor.
No, I didn't lose conscious, but I felt here. We'll just hot mic this right here. The mount just fell off. I felt some sort of something electricity wise come through me.
Yeah.
And I ended up on the floor, and that's still a mystery to me how it happened. So I looked it up, and apparently it's a ground current. So I was like, okay, I might be crazy. Then the next day I walk out, and there's a hole in the ground where it went into the old telephone lines. It blew rocks everywhere and mud all over the side of the house. And then I go to the other side of the house, which is one side was on my right, the other side was on my left. And there's 4 holes in the ground and mud thrown all up on the side of the house. And I was in between those 2 points. So, and then the internet wasn't working. So then I walked out to the telephone pole, and lo and behold, at the bottom of the telephone pole is another hole with mud blowing everywhere.
That's why your house is grounded.
Dude.
You know, you never think about that ground wire they put into the ground.
Yeah. Without that, the house catch on fire.
Yeah.
A piece of shingle was broken. I mean, it was bizarre, man.
Those little dots all over your yard from did you hear a pop or anything?
Yeah.
Is it loud?
Yeah, but it wasn't as loud as you would think because I think I was too busy feeling the juice.
Yeah.
Because I actually looked it up. And they say it's very common that when you experience a ground fault that you will end up on the ground. I didn't jump. It wasn't a conscious thing. Oh, that's scary. Let's jump. It was just I felt a weird feeling, and all of a sudden I was on the ground.
Right.
And I was like, am I alive?
It's like even a small, like if you get shocked,
Yeah.
real small, it really doesn't hurt.
No.
It just startles you more than anything.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that happened to Carrie when I guess lightning struck. It wasn't in our yard, but it came through the ground and took out our garage door motor and all that.
Yeah.
And she was in the laundry room folding clothes, and she was pulling the clothes out, and that sucker came through the clothes and
Yeah, and people
hit her.
will think you're crazy, but both breakers in the living room were blown. My LED lights in my shop are now every color of the rainbow. They don't work anymore, like the red and the blue. Now it's just all different
can't
colors.
change it at all. Right.
And then the one GFCI plug on the porch was fried. And the router was fried.
Dang.
So yeah, it was pretty wicked. I'm a little gun shy now about videotaping, man.
Lightning's crazy. We had to take out
We're
a
good right now.
$2,000 Mac Apple desktop computer at our church a while back, and since that time we put it on a I forget what the name of it is, but it's a surge protector, massive, but it has a battery built into it.
Oh wow.
So if there's a surge or the power goes out or anything, it stays running. So it stops the surge and also
keeps it running
for 45 minutes if the power goes out. So
I'm just
like
wondering,
a little generator.
am I going to have a superpower out of this?
Maybe try to figure out what you got.
Yeah, I got to figure out what I got.
What was that Jason Statham movie where he got he had this massive electric charge and he was going? Look that up for us, somebody. We got a live audience today.
Yeah, we got a live audience. Eric is our resident Chat GTP Google Google man, and we got Jacob here who's going to give us some perspective.
Very
on,
special guest today.
Yeah, very special guest. My son Jacob's going to talk about the ills of social media and what it's like when your parents won't let you have it. And he'll have a little perspective now that he's 22 to look back on a moment that I'm sure he hated his parents when we wouldn't let him have Snapchat.
Yeah, that's going to be our main topic today. Just these challenges that Christian dads face today that weren't even there, like, I'm going to say 10 years ago, even 20 years ago, and how we navigate that and stuff. I'm in the middle of it right now, and it's crazy.
So what about our
Cranked, High Voltage. That's that Jason Statham movie. Thank you, Duval.
What is his superpower?
He's like, he got shocked or something, and
He just
his heart rate's
okay.
like jacked up, and he's like running around killing people.
he's like
hopefully I don't
Cocaine
start-
Bear.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. What you got for us on the quick hitters?
Well, quick hitters, we need to review what an amazing trip to see the Hogs.
it was a
Eric
good
went
time.
with us. We camped out for 12 hours prior to the game. I thought it'd be boring. We'd be sitting there getting bored. Nothing of the such.
Went by super fast, really, honestly.
Went by fast, and it was a great ball game. Hogs won.
When I saw that y'all were camped out for the game, I thought y'all were camped out for the girls' game because they
same
played there
time.
the same earlier than
Yeah.
than what y'all and then I was like, oh wait a minute, they're going for the baseball.
we
game.
there was actually people. I remember it was like the 6th inning ish. People that had left the softball game were actually coming to the baseball game.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Man, I'd never been to the Hog Pen. Killer time. Just such a blast. We
I
were
think
on
the
TV.
Hog Pen and then even the outfield for the girls' game,
It's way
both
better.
of those way
Don't
better.
Even,
That's
don't
best.
even waste your time.
Yeah, don't
on
waste
a
your
seat.
time up in the seats.
The main thing's like for guys like bigger dudes like y'all, you can have room, you can
Yeah.
chill and relax, and
Yes, and you can walk around. And
the view's actually good, and it's just
we started
Yeah,
getting
right.
texts because they kept seeing us on TV. The camera was just drawn to us because Eric had bought 2 flags. Chris made 2 poles, so we were waving the flag out there. It was just a ball, man.
yeah. Fun fact: before the flags in the hog pen were the flags in the hog pen, me and Eric were actually over there. That red flag right there, it's faded now. But I took a broom, took the deal off the end. I had a broom handle, zip ties, and we made our own flagpole.
Nice. That's
It
full
was
redneck.
just starting to be a thing, though.
That's a
in the-
redneck flagpole. I'm digging it.
So we had a hand in starting the tradition.
Yeah.
So y'all were flag line when flag line wasn't
cool.
right?
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a
yeah. And the flag I had was cool. It was the old Ribby flag. That was my favorite.
It's an awesome flag.
Um,
Shout out to Stadium Shop for the flags.
yeah, and we got to see Matt Jones and Phil. They were doing their live show. I was shocked when I saw Matt Jones in person. He looked like a homeless hippie
Yeah.
from the
Dude,
West
his
Coast.
beard is like, I don't know, down to his belly button probably.
And Phil's talking to him. He's sitting on a couch, and like Phil's looking at him. Jones is sitting on the couch looking straight ahead with dark sunglasses on inside, and he's leaned back. And I'm like, is he even listening? And then all of a sudden he starts talking. He sounds completely normal like he
know.
does on the radio.
Yeah, he's in the conversation.
He's awkward, man.
They had those nice comfy chairs. They were just chilling, and
Wow.
Phil's voice is just money anyway.
Yeah.
You're saying they have a little better budget than we've got.
They were in. I'll say they were in the Stadium Shop, so they had those
Yeah.
cool Razorback recliners, and
Yeah,
it was pretty cool
It
though.
was all in all a good deal, man.
Man, this anything else on that?
No, just quick hitters.
Yeah, I was gonna go into this bill that's getting passed right now is gonna greatly affect my wife.
All of us. This is
For
big.
sure, but yeah, the no tip thing, no tax on tips.
Yeah, so I think the funny thing is, it shows you how screwed up the country is, or Democrats are. So for our listeners, we're going to slim down 1,100 pages down to a few of the high points. But the part I was talking about, the Democrats, it passed 215 Republicans and 214. Every single Democrat voted against it.
Wow,
And so they
that
extended.
tells you something right
It
there.
does.
Hey, if all the left is against you, that means you're doing something right.
Yeah.
I've learned that.
Well, and the funny thing is, it could be a great idea, and they just won't agree to it because it's like, well, if I agree to it, then, that makes me look bad.
Right.
Even though it's a good idea, Chris, I just can't vote for it.
Right.
Stupid.
It's just like I used to have a guy I worked with that said when kids would come around with raffle tickets, selling raffle tickets and stuff, he's like, no, that's gambling. I can't buy the raffle tickets.
Get out of
And
here.
he'd look at me and go, now, if you buy them for me, that's okay.
And did you look at him and say, you're insane?
Yeah. Like,
Get out of here with that, man.
tickets. I mean, come on.
Mr. Pharisee himself.
My daughter has sold I don't know how many raffle tickets for Disney and cheer and all this stuff, and but most of the money's going for something good.
Right.
Yeah, well, it was funny. I sent the raffle ticket. I sent a picture of Brookie's raffle ticket when I bought it to my boys in Texas. I said, only in Arkansas does a cheerleader raise funds by selling a gun.
Yeah,
That's
a Ruger
awesome.
22 with a scope.
Those Rugers
Nice.
are
yeah.
sweet rifles.
Yeah,
So tell us about this bill. So
the way they're going to cover no tax on tips and overtime are via tax deductions. So at the end of the year, you'll get deductions for your,
you're going to get taxed on it all year long.
and then you'll get your deductions, which should help. I guess you get a refund or drop your total tax bill.
so my wife, she pays in quarterly. She has to, or she gets penalized.
So she'll have to pay in,
Right.
and then you'll get it on the back end.
Okay.
What about
That's fair.
bonuses? Do those count?
That's a good question because I highly doubt bonuses on salaried workers.
Eric?
I highly doubt it.
We're putting Eric to work over there.
But Chat GTP is looking at that, so we'll come
Eric
back to
GTP.
that. Here's a big one. So the standard deduction for federal taxes right now is $15,000 for a married couple, which isn't jack. It's been raised to $32,000.
For people that don't know, what does that mean?
So that just means as soon as you throw in your gross amount, it immediately married, you would get $34,000 off the amount that was taxable automatically. So before it was just 15, which didn't drop your tax bill down much at all.
Right.
So
That's
it
huge.
drops your taxable income
Down.
by 32,000.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's big. They more than doubled it. Another good thing for us Arkansas taxpayers, because we pay Arkansas state tax, they increased the state and local government tax cap to $40,000. So again, and you already get a deduction because you pay state taxes.
Yeah.
And they've raised that even more. So that's going to help on federal taxes
Can you see that?
by dropping your tax bill. Let's see. So bonuses remain subject to the federal income tax, which I figured because
Yes, commissions do too then.
I think they just looked at it like overtime's a blue collar thing.
It's just overtime and tips.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I need to get my commissions classified as a tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
You can find an accountant who will do that for you. I promise. Here's probably the coolest thing that I saw come through is every child born gets a MAGA savings account, $1,000
that's incredible.
from the day they're
dude.
born. And what I like about it is they're not just giving it away; they're giving a savings account where hopefully good parenting will come in and show them as they get older how this money is
So
growing.
like when kids are born from here forward.
Yep,
they're
no,
born,
no
they go,
retro
there's no-
children.
yeah,
This is a governmental thing. They're
'cause
gonna
I'm
just-
still a child.
Yeah. They're trying to teach money management and getting people to start looking at savings money. It'll cause a conversation to occur.
right.
And you're going to watch 15 years down the road, you're going to see a kid who took $1,000 and turned it into something crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's going to be a cool story.
But that's something that's lost, I think, now on our kids. You remember back in the day in school, you would teach you how to write checks and home ec class and all this stuff. And you remember girls going around our school having to carry a baby. Like this thing
Yeah.
was a legit,
Yeah.
had a computer inside of it that if you left it crying, you were failing.
Yeah.
it was, but they don't do that stuff anymore.
Yeah, because I had a girl that worked for me in my office that we sold a trailer, and I said, okay, on the bill of sale, be sure to write on there the check number. That they're giving a cashier's check, but I don't want you to put the check number on there. So we have that on the bill of sale. And she says, okay, so checks have numbers?
They have no idea, man. That brings me to like cursive.
Yeah.
That's gone.
Gone.
Jacob,
Joe.
can you write cursive? The only
Just
thing,
your name.
Just his name. That's it.
So Jacob said he cannot only write his name in cursive.
That's it. And that's insane because it was a method to write notes and write letters faster by cursive. Well, nobody writes letters.
Yeah. I remember my grandmother, she would write in cursive, and it was the most beautiful handwriting. Yeah. Like, it was just like on like the notebook page. I mean, it was just
how about the
amazing.
Founding Fathers?
Yeah.
Not only was their grammar perfect, it's gorgeous.
Well, so that means that like kids now they can't even read the Constitution.
They're going to need ChatGPT to print it.
I mean, they can't even read it.
Yeah.
But penmanship was a big deal.
It was a big deal, especially back in the day.
But now everything's like everything's
they can't
typed
hear you
now, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's bizarro.
Bizarro land.
Let's see what else we got. Imposes a 5% tax on money sent abroad, and if you've lived in Texas, you'll know that the Hispanic population sends a massive amount of money back to Mexico.
So they're taxing them for sending.
They're going to tax 5% on that because that money, in theory, should be invested and used in our country, but a lot of it goes back to Mexico. So they're going to get some free money off that. Something cool that I liked: $150 billion to unmanned drones and related tech. Border Patrol's getting a huge boost. Medicaid, people are going to have to start working again. And then the big one, no Medicaid funding for gender-affirming care and no money to nonprofits doing abortions.
Huge.
Big.
That's a big stand right there.
Huge.
Just in from the Eric GTP, no tax on Social Security is not included in this bill right now, but they're going to try to pursue that later as well. So that's a good thing.
I was a little disappointed in that because it's bizarre to get Social Security that you've saved your whole life and then put money into.
Yeah,
it's already been taxed,
right? And
then it gets taxed when you pull it out.
Terrible.
It's bizarre. So hopefully they'll get that fixed.
Also, just in from Eric GTP,
man, this could work.
Approximately 24 to 25 U.S. states still mandate cursive writing instruction in public schools.
And Texas is not one of them.
I don't have that data.
Nope, didn't happen. And so I guess on our next quick hitter, anything else on the taxes?
No, that's good.
So that's 1,100-page bill that we just brewed down to a few points.
In about 10 minutes.
There we go. We covered it in 10 minutes, just like our elected leaders do. We spend about as much time on it as they do.
That's fair.
Girls getting baptized. Tell us about that.
Oh, that was awesome.
So let's hear about when God moved in the girls softball tournament.
Liberty softball.
Yeah.
A&M softball.
Oh man, they got
David versus Goliath.
It was awesome.
Nobody in the country expected Liberty to win this
because
and definitely didn't expect them to beat them twice.
No,
the number one, not just regional seed, national.
National.
Yeah,
it's never happened before.
No, is that the first time ever? First time ever.
Yep.
And I believe
it's the first time that the number one seed has ever been knocked out in a regional.
Wow, it's crazy. But what makes the story even better to me, and I think to us and to our listeners, is wasn't it the weekend before Liberty softball coach? I mean, this team is Liberty softball coach is a Christian, and she baptized, I think, 120 girls the weekend prior, all different schools.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. Actually, at the tournament, so it was like, who would have thought? And the people that are seeing this in this storyline, and they're going to be hearing Jesus.
Yeah,
maybe even for the first time, which is incredible.
Wasn't it Western Kentucky I think one of their players started trying to do it at the pool, and then there was like a curfew, and then they got some permission to go down and do it to violate curfew, and they did all these baptisms in the pool of the hotel.
It's insane.
Pretty amazing. It's amazing. Sometimes the good karma just follows you into your next game.
Well, I mean, I just love it because it's such a typical God thing because it was coming from a so unsuspected place.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, Liberty is a Christian school.
It's a Christian school.
But I'm just saying, I mean, here they are stepping out, the little guy. And they weren't the big dog on campus here.
Now their budget looks like a piece of sand
Yeah.
compared to the beach that is A&M. Just money flowing everywhere.
And then Southeast Louisiana, though, that was another one. They beat LSU twice, knocked them out.
Yeah, it's been been pretty interesting.
This was awesome because and I'm just going to say it. Their coach doesn't look like somebody that you would say she's going to baptize a bunch of girls.
Even more impressive.
Yeah, I'm just saying she kind of has a little bit of a butch look to her.
Well, and from what I
she
read,
plays softball, and I mean, there's but
it was a player-led thing, I believe, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I know, like, if you haven't looked it up, look up the post-game team prayer after the Aggies upset, and they were just praying that God would be glorified through all this.
Oh, man.
that Jesus would be lifted up, and all they wanted was for his name to be shared and people to hear his name, and I think they succeeded gratefully.
Yeah. How many So think about this. So the baptisms were the week before, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got all these baptisms, and then look how much by Liberty upsetting A&M and becoming the #1 news story in all of girls sports. All of a sudden, the baptism story comes right in with it.
Yeah,
Amazing.
without that, you never hear about it.
That's good, man.
So, like, you hear all the time, we joke around and say, like, Lord, please, we need the Hogs to win this game. Like, Lord, but like in this situation, like, I don't think he answers those prayers, but in this situation, I agree 100% with you guys. His name is not glorified through all those baptisms if they don't win the game.
It's a non-story if they don't beat A&M.
100%. And I didn't think about that. Did you think about that before?
Think about it. We didn't hear about it the week before. We only heard about it after Liberty won
during the game.
Yes,
I'm sure it was if you follow Liberty softball, like you're parents and fans, like in the small community, they probably knew.
Yeah.
But nationwide and the exposure that it's getting now doesn't happen at all.
Yeah, it's pretty. Hey, another little God wink, man.
Yeah, a God wink. You may have heard it on like a little Christian
but to
radio
me, that's
or
almost
something.
like the whole deal of some of these players. Maybe they think, my walk-up song's not going to really be that big a deal, but you step out there and put it out there for God, and then just see what kind of happens.
Yeah.
When people hear your walk-up song, praise the Lord.
Yeah.
And then you hitting bombs. I mean, it just.
No, it does because people are sitting there listening. You got some guy walking up to rap music or rock music, and then somebody's willing to, at the risk of not being cool, put a Christian song out for their walk-up. It takes some gonads to do that.
Ava's walk-up song this year was the VeggieTales rap.
And VeggieTales, for those who don't know.
That's great.
The old Christian VeggieTales. Did you watch those
But
as a kid,
have you heard it? It's the song, but it's made into a rap.
That's great. So somebody's out there not knowing they're doing VeggieTales.
You like to talk to tomatoes? If a squash can make you smile.
Oh, dude, that's great.
I got to look that up.
Yeah.
That's great. I know, like, when you hear the Hawk, it's a thing in our friend group to look up it's called the Sounds of Bomb. So it's all the Hogs baseball players walk-up songs.
Y'all struggling over here today.
Hey, but you got to be smooth and just keep talking. Come on. Make the brain. No, I'm not going to help you at all.
So we look it up, and we're excited to see there's all amazing songs. We're back to the rock songs and all that, but it does something to my heart when I hear a Christian song on there. And there's been a few in the past, and there's a few this year and all that. It's just awesome.
You're really starting to see it come to the forefront, though.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt.
Now, and again, I want to attribute that all the way back to a little Florida quarterback that stood up for his faith and
got ridiculed.
Hammered.
Made fun of,
now,
was a butt of jokes.
But
and
now
he's on Sean Ryan doing a 3-hour interview.
Yeah.
Amazing interview, by the way.
So let's get into the meat. The meat of today. You're no Joe Rogan, bro. Like, your brain has stopped working and you're just working on this mount. I mean, Joe would just keep talking. And then
Joe would have like 20 texts running out.
That's
of
a fact.
woodwork.
Why isn't Eric on his knees over here?
Somebody would be
it?
rolling up underneath the desk.
Yeah.
Hey, this is live, uncut, and I ain't cutting this out either.
Yeah, leave it in there. I'm sure people will love it.
So what's our subject? What are we talking about? Come on, Mike.
Let's hit the.
Give it to us.
Give me the official name of what is it? The difficulty of being a Christian parent.
So, navigating modern challenges as a Christian dad or a Christian parent
like
in general.
A wonderfully modified name that came from the internet. That's really good.
You like that?
That's skill.
Skilled. But no, seriously though, because like I'm in the middle of this thing right now. Like, I'm over my head in dealing with this situation right now with my daughter and my youngest daughter. We've already did it with our oldest.
Yeah.
But
me and Mike have just come through it.
Yeah. Why can't I have
It's
Snapchat?
hell.
Everybody's got Snapchat. Why can't I have this? Why can't I do that on my phone? The phone is an evil piece of machinery, fellas.
Yeah, he actually Chris called the other day, and I was able to, as the old dad, give him a little boost because I was like, I can remember being in your exact situation. My wife and I we're literally looking at each other going, are we jerks? We're like the only parents not letting Jacob have Snapchat. Are we bad parents? And you literally, feel like that. Are we doing something wrong because everybody else is doing it?
We did it too.
And you got to hold firm. And we held firm, but it was hard.
Tough.
Because you don't have anybody to call. Like if we called any friend of ours at that time who had kids Jake's age, oh no, man, they got Snapchat.
Well, but see, we were at the time we were the youth pastors too. So my kids were the PKs.
The perfect kids.
Preacher's kid.
Oh.
And they're the PKs, and so everybody just thought, well, they don't get that stuff because they're PKs. It don't have nothing to do with anything else.
Right.
But man, I still stand by it.
And another thing like that we're dealing with too is not so much like the social media though, but like it's getting to the fact like we want a boyfriend and we want to talk to him and
got my rules. Let me give you my rules. Okay.
All right. Hold on. We got Bob's rules coming in here.
This is my rules, and this was my rules for my kids. There's 3 rules. You don't have to be no certain age to date, but you gotta meet the 3 rules. First rule: he's got to know God. If he doesn't know God, if he doesn't have a relationship with God, he definitely can't lead you in the directions that you need to go. And so he's not good enough to take over in my position there.
Fair.
Number 2 is he's got to have a job. If he ain't got a job, he can't pay for nothing. And I know what it costs. I know what it costs to take care of you. So got to have a job. And number 3, he's got to know DAD. If he don't know dad, if he ain't sat down and we know each other, you ain't taking my daughter nowhere.
So what do you do when they're 14? And it ain't time for a
my
job.
daughter's boyfriend ain't old enough to even have a job.
Exactly.
That's exactly.
That's fair.
Exactly.
But then you got the flip side of like,
but sticking to that, it's hard.
You're gonna
It's hard, bro.
like you're gonna do all these things and then You gonna make a rebel, or you gonna make a?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the struggle
right.
you have.
So
But-
we've come to the conclusion with Brooklyn right now that we're breaking it back old school. If he wants to talk to you on the phone, he has to call mom's phone, and we have to be home, and you have to stay in the living room, and y'all can have a conversation for a little while. That's okay.
I got it.
How old is she again? 14?
She'll be 14 in October. So
Yeah.
she's 13 right now.
Perfect.
So that's kind of our approach
Yeah.
at it right now.
I like it.
Well, let's go.
But and here's what the crazy thing though is for us, when you remember when we were like 5 back. Well, we can't remember when we were 5, but our parents when we were like 5, people were like, "Oh, look at, aren't they so cute, holding
Yeah.
hands? Oh, give her a kiss on the cheek. Oh,
Yeah.
y'all gonna get married one day." And this is all cute, but that ain't cute no more.
Man, no.
I'm looking at it, and I'm sure y'all have too. Like, I was that 14, 15-year-old young man with one thing on my brain.
That's right.
All of us.
What I'm saying. So
I also handed out cards in the youth group to all the girls that had my picture on it. And it had questions on the back of it. Would he approve of what you're wanting to do with me?
Nice.
Would he approve of where you're wanting to take me?
That's good.
awesome. That's good stuff.
And I got phone calls sometimes from just random guys that like ask for a girl in my youth group because the girl would have given him my phone number.
Nice. Well, when you're sitting down and you're weighing the pros and cons, like back when we did it, in spite of the pressure to give it to them, I just kept coming back to this is an outlet for the evil to make it into my
100%.
son's brain.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, in our
And
day,
so I just tilted to no.
I mean, let's just be honest. To get a booby picture, you had to have a Polaroid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like the first dirty mag I ever saw was when we were out in the woods beside the interstate. Some trucker had thrown out a booby mag. That's how innocent life was then, and now with
it's all right there.
it's right in your house.
As hardcore as you want it to
as
be, right there.
hardcore and as nasty as you want it to be. It's in your home in a tenth of a second.
So let's bring on Mr. Jake Norman here, right here. I think this will be a good spot because we want to talk to him about what happened. He didn't get Snapchat until he was a senior. Am I correct?
Yep. And he has some perspective now.
Yes.
Now he's beginning to be a young man, getting ready to start his job. So you want to put that mic right inside your mouth. I get yelled at all the time.
All right, right here.
You're good right there. What's up, Jake?
What's
Mr.
up?
Jake Norman.
Yes, sir. Glad to be
Fresh
here.
out of OBU.
Yes, sir.
Starting a new chapter in his life.
About to go work up in Vietnam,
Yes,
which
sir.
gives me an excuse to go see him and see the Hogs in every sport known to man.
There you go.
Beautiful.
So, Jacob, remember those stressful days back in the day?
Yes.
Remember when mom and dad, the evil parents we were,
Mm-hmm.
we were so mean to you, we didn't let you have Snapchat? Tell us how that felt as probably, I think you started wanting it, I don't know if it was 8th or 9th grade.
Mhm.
It was, tell me what that was like and what you thought about your parents at that time, and be honest.
Yeah. It was the cool thing to have. I mean, Snapchat was the biggest and baddest thing, and all my buddies had it. So when I got to see them use it, every 24/7, got to communicate like that, with their buddies and stuff, and see funny pictures. It was really cool, and it was really intoxicating because, once again, like all my friends had it, and I wanted it. And when my parents did not give it to me, I wasn't a part, of the cool kids. Like, oh, bro, you're still using text messages. Oh, you're still.
Oh, yeah,
using
your friends
call.
giving you heck.
Yeah. Like, oh, bro, you're such a noob. Like, And so that's when I wanted it, and I want to be part of the cool kids. But I was really mad. I must
Let's
admit.
say you were seething,
Mhm.
upset with us.
I thought text messages and phone calls was a thing of the past, and I was like, that's just not what they do. I gotta be cool, mom. I gotta be this. I gotta be that. And
It's what
I was
everybody
very
uses.
upset. Yeah.
Nobody uses text messages, Dad.
Of course, yeah. I was very upset, and I bawled.
Yeah, he cried. No,
Yeah, I
he
was
was-
like, man, this is
he
not
was-
fair."
He was so mad he boo-hooed.
Yep.
Let me
I was
ask-
furious.
Let me ask you this question. Other than the fact that it was a new way of communicating with your buddies, text messages, pictures, and all that, I know you saw things on there that you didn't need to see
Of course.
at a young age,
Of course.
which is what mom and dad were trying to protect you from.
Right.
And if you had that, what kind of rabbit trail, what kind of stuff would you've gotten into that you weren't able to get into?
Oh, a whole. I mean, he can go down the rabbit hole. I mean, if I'm being honest here, I mean, we've all kind of thought with our, that one thing. And when you think in that moment, the testosterone is going, you might make a stupid decision. And then you look up and you're a picture of you might be out to the whole entire school and just completely ruin your life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Without me having Snapchat, I never had the even remote possibility of doing that. So I think it's actually a really wise decision.
Because you didn't have the brain at that point to
Right.
know the bigger picture.
Yes.
So you might send a picture and then boom, imagine there's been kids who have killed themselves because a boy sends a picture and then she shares it to everybody or vice versa. And the kid has to move.
Yep.
Total destruction. So with
Scientifically proven that frontal cortex isn't
fully developed.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so that Bob said there that your frontal cortex isn't even as Bobby Duval says, your brain don't come on until you're 24, 25, and then
that's that decision making.
yeah,
Yep.
So I
decision
got-
making
I
part
got
of your
3 more
brain.
years, so technically I'm not even allowed to be on this podcast.
Hey, but you're way better off right now. And just in from Eric GTP, Snapchat is the #1 app used in sextortation cases involving minors, according to the FBI in 2023. So that's just Snapchat's used to lure, blackmail, and exploit children.
Blackmail
can-
is huge.
And like what these young guys and girls don't know is they don't think about it. Even though you sent that picture to whoever, it's out in the la la land forever.
Yeah. And they can blackmail you. I'm going to release this photo to your school
Yep.
unless you pay me $500.
Yeah.
And it's just, and then not only that, the disappearing messages, unacceptable.
It's just that just screams sketchiness, man. Like
Yes, it
nothing
does.
in my mind, even to this day as an adult, I don't have it because I don't believe anything good can come of it. you know?
I don't have it for the same
I want
reason.
to talk to you. I ain't gonna Snapchat you. I'm gonna just
No.
text you or call you or maybe
No,
FaceTime.
I don't have it because it feeds me half naked girls.
Yeah.
And so that's why I don't have it. But
So now as old Jake,
22-year-old
young
Jake.
man
about to be 23 in September.
entering the world, what do you tell us what you think now about not having that, or tell us when you got social media, when you got Snapchat, and were you old enough to handle it then, and how do you what do you think about it not having it?
I firmly believe that is a good decision. If I was going to do if I had a kid, right now, and, let's say further down the line, he's like 16, 18, whatever, and he comes to me with wanting it. How I go about a decision is just it's very simple. It's a pros and cons list. And the pros with Snapchat is literally like, I don't know, maybe 3.
yeah.
You're cool with your buddies and y'all can send funny snaps to each other. And that's really about it. The cons are about 1 million.
Yeah.
There's just too much bad with it. And I am a firm believer on, if I were to have a kid, waiting until they're at the very least 18 years. And
Which is 2 years later than we gave it to you.
right.
Because now and even when we gave it to you at, I think it was 16 or 17. Remember?
I got it and then I lost it and then I regained it when I freshman year of college. So
So obviously, when you first got it, you weren't ready
But
for
he
it.
was-
I
that
not
was my
and
point.
That's the reason
Yeah.
why I lost it.
even though I thought he was old enough,
Still wasn't
he
ready.
still wasn't ready.
Yeah.
He still wasn't ready. And every kid's different. Some kids be really, really mature and do it. And for him, he wasn't. He got it too early.
Yeah. And on the flip side of that, I'll tell you a perspective. And I wish we'd have planned this enough time because I would have had Bailey come on
Oh yeah.
because she got Instagram and Snapchat early and failed with it, and then we took it away from her.
Right.
But the same thing with you now. She'll tell you. She tells it to us all the time. Like, when I got that stuff, that's when I started down the path that I didn't need to go down.
Of course. And I mean, like, you know, when you first get it, you're gonna, you try to be good, and you're like, I'm gonna be mature with it. You know, I'm gonna do this and that. But, when you're, if I'm gonna be honest, like when you're home alone at night, you're in your room and it's 11 p.m. And you're, snapping a girl, doing whatever. That thought kind of creeps in, and eventually it's gonna cave. I mean, you're a young man, you're a young woman, and eventually you're gonna cave and make a bad decision.
And to be honest with you, it's completely normal.
Yes.
Which is why you don't need it.
Right.
Yes.
And that's another thing too, like Snapchat, big bad. But then you got things like TikTok, now just feeding kids, like Dad said, pictures of naked women. You got Instagram, you try to go see something funny on Reels.
And boom.
After about 5 scrolls, you're seeing a girl in a bikini, and it's just everywhere, man.
It's
everywhere.
nonstop.
And that's, to this day, I don't have social media, and that's
the
why
only thing
I
you
can't,
got is Twitter, and that's the same for me.
I can't handle it.
I can't.
I just can't.
I've tried. And
I know my triggers,
Yeah.
and I can't handle it.
I mean,
So
it's just-
now you're going to add 2 years
Mhm.
to your kid.
Yep.
And so, Chris, you should, from this conversation, feel strengthened.
I do 100%.
You are not alone, and that the decision, and talking to Bob the way he handled it, it is clearly the right decision, and you just got to withstand.
Yeah.
You got to withstand the hate coming from your kid, because
Yeah.
we sure got it, and it was tough.
Yeah.
And then the last thing too, like with your daughter, your youngest daughter, if it's a good guy, I mean, he'd be willing to call her in Messenger.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
That
If he's a good, I know she's kind of young. She's only like 14, about to
Yeah.
turn 14. But if he's a good guy, he'll do
That's
that.
a
for
great point.
Yeah.
It won't bother him at all. Think about our days, man.
And that was the point, man. I told my wife, I said, I talked to a lot of parents on the phone trying to get to a girl, like call them up, old school landline. Hey, can I talk to Susie? Sure, and you let them talk to her.
That's the way I had to call my girlfriend all through high school.
Exactly.
And their parents would answer, and you'd be like, can I talk to so-and-so?
Yep.
Sucked.
But that's not cool enough, man. That's not cool enough. Short term, it ends.
That's a very good point, Jake. If
Yeah.
if he's a good enough kid and he wants to really talk to her,
He going to deal with it.
he gonna handle it,
Yep.
or he won't talk to her.
For sure. That's the way it's going to be.
Thanks,
Yes, sir.
brother.
Yes,
Thanks
sir.
for your perspective, brother.
Yes, sir.
Makes my heart happy to hear the grown-up perspective.
Yeah, it was a
Be
pleasure. Thank you.
Come on back, Bob.
It's good. I totally agree. It was hard, and I still think my oldest is probably still mad at me over some of those things, but
Right.
I still stand by it. I mean, it's just a life changer.
Yeah.
And you can even you can have all the best intentions in the world, and in that split second, something happens. And for us, just like what you're talking about, one of the things I told my daughters is, okay, how long do you think you're going to date somebody before you marry them? And well, at least 4 years. Okay. So then at 16, I'm like, okay, so are you within 4 years of getting married right now? No. Okay. Then why are we taking this so serious?
Yeah,
Because we're not in that serious moment yet.
that's good.
We're not even close to it.
Yeah,
So you just take it easy. Just chill with it.
Calm down.
just calm down a
Yeah.
little bit. That's all good points, and I love the perspective that Jake brought. From like now when he was a kid, sucking through it, wanting it bad, couldn't have it, and now older Jake sees the value in not having it.
And add
So
it, if you'd
good,
have
man.
told me when we were going through hell that 7 years later Jake would add 2 years to my
Yeah, right.
decision,
You would have said you're crazy.
you're insane.
Yeah.
You're insane. But he knows.
Yeah.
Because he grew up in the social media era and knows the dangers of it.
And the truth to that is, for all of us, how do we know how to parent through that? We don't.
We
because
don't. There's
we're-
no book.
No
There is
playbook.
no book, and this you're living in a generation of something that's brand new, that's never been handled before. So we're all finding our way through it.
And that's why, and I think it's important for us dads and parents in general. Like we talked about earlier before the show, like it's so easy to like give your kids social media
That's the easy button.
and say, "Here you go," so I can do my own thing.
Yeah. They're not going to be bothering you when they're on social media.
No, and that's So we have to be intentional as parents.
Well, you got to be intentional in when you're disciplining your child, you're disciplining yourself.
Yeah.
Because whatever you're telling them they can't
Yeah.
do or can't have, now you're the one that's got to make that stand up.
Yeah.
And that means now too, Safari can be, you can manage Safari through the iPhone. Back in his day, they didn't.
Yeah. Like on Brooklyn's phone, like I have Safari turned off. She can't get on any mail, like email, anything like that. We do downtime from 9 to I have it like 6 a.m.
Yep.
So she can only access like her Bible app at that time, and she can receive calls and texts from mom and dad during that time in an emergency. So she can call and text us.
You can.
That's all set up through the iPhone. Like,
Thank goodness they have it now.
Yeah,
Hey,
no special app.
We had to go through, we went through and set up my daughter's phone to where she could only receive calls from 10 people.
Wow.
Yes.
Completely. That's it.
And back then, you had to use a third-party app because Apple natively didn't have anything.
We had to do third-party apps to try and make that stuff happen.
We subscribe to Bark right now. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that.
Yeah, I've heard of Bark.
And so like it goes into her phone and you plug it in the first time, and that's all you have to do. So you can log into her like GroupMe and log into her YouTube and things like that. And so anything from bullying, sexual, like sometimes in her GroupMe, like in her youth group, they'll talk about somebody praying for somebody and they'll be like sick, and it'll be like details of why they're sick, and we'll get a notification like saying that harmful stuff, but that's cool. We want that, and if you're not monitoring your kid's phone, you're messing up.
Yeah. Don't be lazy. Don't press the big red easy button. Do the hard thing.
And they're not old enough for privacy.
No.
There's no such thing as privacy.
No.
I mean,
Jake has a GPS on his car that we will take off the day he's paying for everything himself. And we don't care. We don't even look at it anymore. But if we get worried about him, I can look.
Yeah.
And he's cool with it.
Yeah, we have Life 360, and we have our whole family on Life 360.
Yeah,
we do too.
I mean,
that's a good thing to have, man.
I just look on there sometimes. Hey, I wonder where such is at. I'm not trying to check up on nobody. I'm just want to see where
use
we're
it
at.
to like my sister-in-law's on it. Our whole family is, and Tyler and my nephew and stuff. It's like text Kaylee and see where they're at. And I'm like, no, just look on Life 360.
Well, we've also I like some of the bikers I used to ride with. We actually had a group where we had a Life 360 so that we could know, like, if somebody goes down, we can get to them. Man, we can, boom, we know exactly where they're at. And
or if a fight goes down.
Yeah, if something breaks out, I'm there.
Now, Life 360 has crash alerts.
Yeah.
How much is it a month?
It's free.
Life 360 is?
Yeah, Life 360 is free.
Yeah.
Because I've just been, I have a thing
if you want the more detailed you want, you have to pay. But just to see locations, it's free. Like you can set up we have our home set up. We have Eric's house on there, Kaylee, Crystal. So like my work and stuff, and you can turn different notifications off for people when they leave work. Abby's on there, Eric's daughter, and like I was in Jonesboro the other day, and she was like, "Dad, why do you tell me Crystal's in Jonesboro?" And blah blah blah. I could have got me a free cupcake. I was just right by her work.
See, I didn't know that.
It told her. It notified her that I was there.
We've been using for, like me and Monica, we just do Find My iPhone.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it works. It's not as good as 360. I thought you had to pay for 360.
No, Life 360 is free.
Well, it's a separate app.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I learned something new today.
Yes.
You can pause it, if you need if you don't need the kids to know where you and Monica are at.
Yeah. Is it detailed in the bedrooms of the house?
Yeah.
That's bad.
That's bad.
I just gross Jake out.
Jake's like,
he's about to puke in his mouth.
Man, we're all about being real and raw. This is a struggle that I'm going through right now, and wanted to be encouraging to you guys, listeners, that you're not alone in this. Like, you don't have to have all the answers, but just start somewhere. You have to start. And if you don't start, you're never going to do anything. So,
it's nice to have buddies who've been through it and can talk you through it.
Yes. Remember, your presence is powerful in your kid's life. Kids spell time or love TIME. So don't pass them off to their phone or their iPad or whatever. You know, be with them. And
and I love the great woman that my oldest daughter's turning into, that she is now. I mean, she'll be a senior in college, and I know we were tough on her when she was younger, but man, she's a great young lady making great decisions. And you know, my youngest, same thing. You know,
and Brooklyn's a good kid, and Bailey's
is
an amazing young lady now. And you know, it's not so much that I worry about her; it's the moment, when you're in the moment.
That's right.
And I tell her all the time, because our pastor preaches this all the time. You have to make the decision. This is drastic, but you have to make the decision. You're not going to have sex with a boy or a girl before you get in the backseat of the car.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's too late.
You're done.
Well, that's what I tell them. What's the easiest way for that not to happen?
Avoid the situation.
Anytime you're together, you get together with your parents in the living room.
Yeah. But if
it makes it real easy.
Right. If you've made, but they made a decision already.
Right.
If you haven't made the decision
there got to
prior,
be boundaries.
You're going to get trapped.
Yep.
Your boundaries have got to be known.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you can't set boundaries afterwards.
The fact.
And it'd be really good if both of you, the male and the female, both collectively agreed to those boundaries. Because typically, the girl will have a boundary, and the boy's just waiting for the boundary to drop. And the second she gets weak,
right,
he's right in there.
And so, within the first few dates, those boundaries need to be talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all need to, there's somebody needs to bring up those boundaries of, okay, and a guy needs to know those boundaries, because if he's a good guy, he will respect those boundaries and he will do his best to stay within those boundaries.
Yep.
You know what I like about boundaries for youngsters who do that, especially for girls? You'll find out if the dude likes you or not real quick.
Yeah. That's right. Real
Most
fast.
guys are going to run off. If he sticks with you, then he's in it for the long haul.
If he don't respect your boundaries, ladies,
deuces.
Young ladies, give him the deuces, man. Like,
hey, and also too,
because I was that turd that didn't respect boundaries.
Yeah, I mean, if there was the second there was a crack in the boundary, I tried to come through it like the Kool-Aid man.
Yeah.
Oh,
smooth as butter, baby.
Yeah. As soon as we see a hole in it, buddy, we're picking at it.
Yeah. So I mean, that's also natural human, behavior. But so many parents today, I think, want to be their kid's friend.
Yeah, that's it.
And I'm not Jake's friend through those years. Now, at the age of 22, we're becoming friends.
Right.
We hadn't been friends this whole time.
Yeah.
I've been his parent. Now he's on his own. I'm his friend. I'm a buddy.
Yeah.
I'll help him. I don't boss him around a whole lot. That will begin to, lessen more and more every year he gets older,
Right.
But that's the key, man.
And
Don't be their friend.
We want to hear from you guys. Let us know, like, how you parent your kids, what you do with social media, how you handle these situations, and just encourage you, like, this week, take one intentional step as a father or a mother, as a parent, to be in your kid's life, whatever that means. Go on a one-on-one date with your daughter, dads.
Yeah.
It means playing catch when it's 100 degrees outside and you want to just go in the house and sit in the AC and relax.
Pray with your
we took
kids, man.
daddy-daughter dates.
Yep. It's a big
That's
one.
good stuff for the girls.
Yep. And pray with your kids, man. Pray with your spouse, your family, and ask for forgiveness where it's needed. The Lord will forgive you. Be gracious to one another, to your kids. I heard a amazing thing. We're all big Razorback baseball fans, and Eloy's parents were on this video. He was talking, and his mom has said in there that his dad said too many people are raising sheep.
Oh yeah.
And he said, we want to raise wolves. And then mom said, we may let you fall, but we're going to be there to pick you up. And so there's a fine line in that still, but.
Well, the key is you can't just be hard ass.
Yeah.
It's got to be love. Like when I spank his butt, let him know a little bit later, hey, man, love you to death. Just what we got to do, man.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to tell your kids that you failed at something.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to tell them, hey, you know what? I messed up here.
Yep.
I want to apologize to you because I messed up here. And so this is why we're doing this different.
Yeah.
Because I messed up. Because we mess up too. And they need to see that so that they see that they don't have to be perfect.
Yes.
Or when you go off on them in a fit of rage, and later on you're like, "Hey, bro, sorry,
Yeah, I messed
I got
up.
a little too crazy there."
And another thing too, like, you know, I preach to Brooklyn all the time. Every decision has consequences, whether it's a good decision or a bad decision. And so they need to know that. And if they think about the consequences, might mitigate a few less bad decisions. I don't think you're gonna take away all the bad decisions, but
Always run pros and cons.
always run pros and cons. You guys got anything else?
That's it, my friend.
That's good.
Yep. Thanks for listening. Check us out on social media, YouTube. Give us a like, a follow, share. And Mike, I'll let you pray us out.
All right. Dear Lord, we just ask that you help this podcast. If it can help anybody out there, we just ask that you help reach those people in need. And we pray for strength for the parents who maybe don't have a friend that they can call, that they have strength to stand alone in their decisions, where at the time they feel just alone and that they're not sure if it's right. Give them the strength to stand strong and power through that decision, to not press the easy button. And we ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.